there, I'm Terry. Thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to my very first video blog. So in this video we're going to sort of cover all the boring stuff, so I might put some lovely little cutaways in, but a little bit about me. I'm a 48-year-old male. I live in Auckland, New Zealand. This is our largest city. And yeah, I'm just your average Kiwi male. Nothing flash, nothing fancy. So I grew up on the west coast of the South Island, a place called Westport. Really good place to grow up. You're a kid, you know, it was a place in New Zealand that still has its innocence. But I always had an interest in media, so when I moved to Christchurch, I eventually started with a bit of a radio station and then moved to Canterbury Television, where I sort of spent the majority of my years learning directing and producing, and you know, just an amazing bunch of people. You know, you could try anything, and yeah. We had a great loss with the Christchurch quake that took some beautiful people from there. So I transferred to Auckland, worked for Sky TV for a few years, and got out before I lost the passion. The corporate world is quite different to regional, but that's no offence to Sky, of course. But over those next sort of 20 years, I always kept a bit of a hand in media, and I've always enjoyed it. I've recently just set up a local Auckland news channel called AUCNews, and it's a bit of a hobby base, but I also like to sort of do a few community videos, and you know, it just keeps me active and I enjoy it. But yes, doing this video, this is a lot different to what I'm used to doing. I'm normally telling people's stories, so this one I'm actually telling my story. There's no storyboard, there's no script, and I'm not even sure how that ends, but thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me for the other vlogs that are coming in the future. So the backstory, I was working for a friend's supermarket. He was training me up to be a manager, and as you do when you start out in a new role, you sort of team up with all the young guys and all the other staff and get out there and work with them and earn their respect. And yeah, there's a bit of heavy lifting and bits and pieces, lugging boxes of coke around and stuff like that, and got a bit of a sore back and thought, so unfortunately I had to go into ACC and spend a month on there, and then it became Christmas, and you know, typical male thing, you know, we sort of downplay a lot of our, you know, sore back, just doing the lawns or something like that. So went off ACC, and I sort of didn't go back to work. I sort of spent a bit of time and travelled around New Zealand, and during the trip I noticed my pain in my back actually switched to the other side, and continued my trip, and got back home, and I was getting a bit of pressure to go and get an MRI, and you know, I'd previously had surgery, so it could have been, you know, a re-injury from that. But yeah, so typical, I didn't do it, and a few months sort of passed, and I was actually nursing a sick cat, and I'd gone to actually to see her, and I went to pat her, and my arm decided it wasn't going to work, so it was a little bit strange, so I sort of shook it off, and you know, worked and carried on. And then a couple of other things happened during that day, and wasn't able to pick up a pen and couldn't write, and a few little trigger signs there, so I thought, no, this is something else. So a quick appointment to the doctors, and he ordered a MRI, and most of the focus was actually still on the back, so you know, had a previous injury, so it was sort of to go to there. But that Monday morning, what would normally be a 40-minute MRI was about almost 3 hours. So the MRI, you normally with the back, you'd be focusing around the sort of the hip and back area. Then I noticed that the machine was coming up as doing around the chest area, and then the head area, and then back down, and they put a couple of different things across my stomach for different things, and then there was tracer dyes put in. So I'm sort of sitting there in the machine on my own thinking, okay, this is probably a little bit more than just a backache. So the results from the MRI were actually sent off to my back specialist, who had actually done my surgery in 2015, and he'd taken one look at it, and I think about 6:30 at night sent it straight to my GP, which my GP was trying to contact me, and actually contacted a friend of mine to you know, get in contact reasonably urgently. So Once that contact was made, it was about 7:30 at night. We headed into the doctor's surgery after hours, and that was where I was told that so I had some cancer in the lung, which had metastated to the brain, which has between 6 and 10 tumours in the brain, and also in the pelvis and kidney area. So that was a bit of a shock. So basically after that appointment, it was to Waitakere Hospital here in Henderson, Auckland, for a CT scan. I wasn't overly happy, but I was admitted into hospital, and I actually stayed there until the Friday, so it was Tuesday to Friday, and the normal, the PCR test, blood tests, and poked and prodded for a good few days, and the final test was a biopsy, which was done for the lymph node at North Shore Hospital. So there was a bit of bonus. I got my first ride in an ambulance. But so I was released that night. I had a little bit of a high blood pressure, so it was sort of 140 over 110, so I had to sort of do a little bit of resting till I could get that down to about 90 so I could go home. So this video will not focus too much on the treatment stuff. This is just more as an introduction, and just who I am and where I am, and how we're going. The other part of this video, I need to apologise to some of my friends. Unfortunately, this video is actually how they're learning that I do have cancer. So I do apologise. In the earlier stages, I had to sort of prepare a few things, so I didn't want to sort of get too much attention. I know that you get the sympathies and stuff like that, and it was just not the right time to tell a lot of people. So I do have a lot of other things planned. In the next video, I'm going to go into more detail on what they found and what I have and what I'm dealing with. I'll also discuss a lot of the changes that I've done. So we've done a lot of dietary changes. We don't shop at the supermarket anymore. Most of our food is unfortunately packed with sugars and agents and packing agents, and unfortunately they're not good. And we do know it, but it's only times like this that we sort of wake up and realise that what we're eating is probably best left at the supermarket. So I'll go into that. We'll also go into like with changing your diets. I have a philosophy that you don't need to change what you do. So I'll be talking about how to make your own crackers and your hummus and making your own oat milk, so that sort of stuff. So you do the normal things, you just change how you do it. But we're basically gone to food from scratch. So we basically buy everything from a market garden, and we just cook and prepare it ourselves. But there's been a lot of research. This video I'm filming today is probably 5 weeks after diagnosis, so a lot's happened in those few weeks, and in the next few videos I'll bring you up to speed. I've filmed at a lot of my appointments. We've had second opinion appointments, we've had the public health system, we've had our own research as well, so it's pretty in depth. But as I say, the first one's the boring one. I'll make the other ones look a bit better. This is not a sympathy video. I've been a smoker since I was about 14, so it's pretty obvious that I knew the risk when I took the job. But so the cancer is obviously probably related to smoking. It would have started in the lung probably about 5 years ago, they think, and it's metastated and it's gone to the brain and also to the kidney. But the horse is bolted on that one, so nothing I can do about that. So we now move forward and see what we can do treatment wise.